That motorcycle that you're seeing on screen right now is called the Lyphon LF250. It's a 250 cubic centimeter engine. It produces roughly 20 horsepower. It's manufactured in China, and it costs, brand new here in the Ukraine, $1,700. That's the motorcycle I'm planning on purchasing. Now at $1,700, what does that tell you? Huh? What does a motorcycle that costs $1,700 brand new tell you? Yeah, it's a piece of shit. Yeah, exactly. It's manufactured in China. It's cheap as dirt for a 250cc engine, right? So what's that tell you? I mean, the thing is probably going to be made with shoddy plastic. You know, there are probably going to be issues with the frame, you know. I mean, it's just going to be a general POS kind of motorcycle, right? And yet it's the bike I'm getting. I know it's a piece of shit. Why am I getting it? Oh, very simple. See, I haven't ridden a motorcycle in something like 25 years or something like that. I mean, just an insane amount of time. And lately, you know, springtime is coming, even though today is a really shitty day, but springtime is coming, and all of a sudden I thought to myself, you know, I really want to have a motorcycle. You know, maybe it's just the middle-aged life crisis, all that shit, but you know, I really want to be tooling around this spring in a motorcycle. But I don't have the mileage. I haven't ridden in so long that for all intents and purposes, I'm a noob, right? I mean, I know the motorcycle I want to get, and it's not the Lyphon LF250, I'll tell you that right now. No, the real motorcycle I want to get is actually one of 4 models. I haven't made up my mind yet. It will be either the Ducati Scrambler, the Moto Guzzi V7, the Harley Davidson Street Rod, or the Triumph Street Twin. One of those 4. I just haven't made up my mind. They're all roughly in the same category. They're cruiser retro bikes, right, in the 700 to 800cc range. They produce between 43 horsepower on the low end, that's the Moto Guzzi, to I think it's like 62 horsepower for the Scrambler. It's roughly that range. It's the kind of bike that is suitable for a guy like me, right? I want to tool around, have a nice time. Once in a while, you know, when I'm on an open road, I'll let go of the throttle, but more than anything, I just want to tool around and have a good time. I want a motorcycle that's forgiving, but at the same time that has kind of like the torque to really make life a little bit interesting, right? Yeah, that's the real motorcycle that I want. But why am I buying the Lyphon LF250? Why am I buying the piece of shit? The piece of shit made in China that is, for all intents and purposes, a disposable motorcycle. Well, for that very reason, because it is a disposable motorcycle. See, with a Lyphon LF250, right? It's a total piece of shit motorcycle, yeah, but you know, I can tool around with it, I can mess around with it, I can get into trouble, I can drop it, I can do all kinds of things with it, and I'm not gonna mind. See, because the real motorcycles I wanna get, you know, they're all in the, you know, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 range. Some of them actually higher here in the Ukraine. And point of fact, actually, of those 4 models, none is under 11 grand, right? So at 1,700, what am I going to do with the LF? Well, I'm just going to tool around with it, get the mileage that I need, because like I said, I'm practically a newbie after all these years of not riding a motorcycle. If I get into trouble, if I crash it, who gives a shit? If I fuck around with the motor and, you know, tinker with it and screw it up, so what? The parts are going to be cheap. And even if the parts aren't cheap, even if I screw it up completely and the bike is a total loss, well, it only cost me $1,700. So what? It's just my starter bike. You should be thinking the exact same way insofar as girlfriends are concerned. See, I remember very clearly, clear as day, when I was young, when I was like, I don't know, 19, 20, 23 even, I thought to myself that, you know, the next serious quote-unquote girlfriend would be the love of my life, right? I was all stressed out about it, as opposed to just enjoying my time with whatever girlfriend happened to come my way. A lot of times, I rejected girls because I didn't see myself with them long term, instead of realizing that I should have gotten involved with them and had a relationship with them because, see, they were starter girlfriends. And that's the thing that you should do. You should get involved with girls that you don't necessarily see yourself long term. Get involved with girls to gain the mileage, to gain the experience, you know? And in that kind of relationship, you can tinker with the relationship, you can push the envelope with the relationship, you can do all sorts of things in that relationship. And see, in a very real sense, it doesn't matter. It's not somebody that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. But a lot of guys, especially guys who are not particularly good with girls, what they start thinking is that the next girl that they meet has to be the one. And they miss out on a lot. That's why I'm doing this video. See, the starter girlfriend, right? The girlfriend that you don't necessarily see yourself with long term. You can have a really fucking good time with her. And you can learn what is necessary in a woman, what's necessary for you from a woman that you would see yourself with long term. Because a lot of times, before you have gotten into any kind of relationship, you're going to have all kinds of ideas as to what kind of woman you want. But then when you're actually in a relationship, even if it's with a starter girlfriend, you're going to start to realize what's something that's really important to you and what is something that you thought was important but is actually trivial to you. In my own case, I thought that there were certain qualities that I wanted in a woman. I wanted certain things and certain qualities and certain characteristics that with mileage and experience, I realized I didn't really need or weren't very important or were superseded by other factors that were a lot more important. For instance, when I was young, I thought, oh man, I need a woman who's hot, who's just smoking hot, right? And over time, I realized that I wanted nothing to do with the hot girls because the hot girls are a hot mess. Hot girls cause all kinds of problems. I'm not talking about unattractive girls versus attractive girls. I'm talking about those hot, sexy girls who are always quote unquote on, right? Those girls. I thought I wanted one of those. But then when I actually started dating them and realized what a fucking nightmare she was, fuck that. You see what I'm saying? Experience will teach you much more than anything else. Even the experience of others. Your own experience will teach you more than anything. And so insofar as women are concerned in your life, insofar as the kind of woman that you want to have in your life and raise a family with, presumably, right? You want to have the mileage. You want to have the experience. You want to have the starter girlfriend. You want to be dating the Lyfen LF250 so that you get the mileage and experience to know what you really want. See, right now I told you about those four motorcycles that I'm thinking about getting, right? The Ducati, the Harley, the Triumph, and the, what was the fourth? Oh, and the Moto Guzzi, right? Those are the four that I have in mind right now. But see, it'll be the Lyfen, the LF250, this piece of shit that barely generates 20 horsepower. That's the bike that's going to teach me, by way of experience, which of those four high-end motorcycles I'm really going to want. See? Because right now, those four bikes, they're all aces in my book, and they each have different pros and cons, right? They have certain characteristics in common in terms of like horsepower, in terms of CC, right? In terms of how they're designed. Their usage. They're mostly for the street, but you can take them off-road and they can handle themselves, right? They all have those things in common, but the little things that will really make my experience, I won't be able to learn what I really like until I've had the Lyfen. The piece of shit Chinese bike is going to teach me and point me in the direction of the motorcycle that I really want to get. You see what I'm saying? Same with your starter girlfriend. Your starter girlfriend is somebody that you're going to have very fond memories of. I remember my starter girlfriend, as a matter of fact. She was a girl that I dated back in the day. I must have been like 19, 20. And it was the first fairly serious relationship, but it wasn't like serious like we're going to get married. There was never that thought in my head. There were other things that I was very interested in. There was the sex part, there was the companionship part, and all the rest of it. But see, she taught me what I really wanted from a woman. Both what I wanted from a girlfriend and what I wanted from a long-term partner. And she was very important in my life, even though we dated only a few months. I mean, if memory serves, it must have been maybe 6, 7 months. And it was kind of like on the down low, because foolishly I was a bit embarrassed by her, because I didn't see myself at the time with her long term, and of course she wasn't a long-term girlfriend, but I should have not been so foolish and silly. I should have just been more forthright, and you should learn from my mistake. Be forthright with your starter girlfriend, okay? And keep in mind that it's just a starter girlfriend. Just like the Lyfen LF250 is just a starter bike for me, your starter girlfriend, you find her, you take her around the track, you have a good time, you experiment, you tinker, and you find out what works for you. Don't be worried about breaking it. That's the whole point of a starter girlfriend, see? Because a starter girlfriend, your relationship will sunset. She is not the mother of your children. She is not the woman who will accompany you through the rest of your life. No, she's the girl that you learn from. And so learn from her. You know, keep your eyes open. Think of what you want. Be forthright and honest. And treat her, you know, not with kid gloves. She's not like delicate. She's just somebody that you're dating with and you know that there's no future. But be very careful about confusing a starter girlfriend with your permanent girlfriend wife. Yeah, see, a lot of guys, they fall into the habit of being just really, really comfortable with the starter girlfriend, right? They're just real comfortable with her, and they figure, you know, she's good enough, so why don't I just stick with her? Don't be that way. I mean, do you think that I'm going to stick with the Lyfen LF250 for the rest of my life? No. I'm going to tool around in this bike for, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4 months. I mean, I want to get roughly, you know, about 3 to 5,000 kilometers on this bike. You know, just really just, you know, put on the mileage so that, you know, I gain the experience. But once I have the experience, once I've outgrown the bike, I'm going to set it aside and get the one that I really want. The same with a starter girlfriend. She's just for the experience, for the mileage, so that you figure out what you want out of life, out of women. Don't confuse her with the permanent girl. Don't fall into the trap of saying, well, it's so easy and comfortable and it's just going to be just a whole fucking asshole to get another girl. Don't think that way. In point of fact, often as not, you're going to find that the starter girlfriend gives you the self-confidence to find the girl and get the girl that you really want. Yeah, because what happens, of course, is that every guy knows this, that when you have a woman in your life, you have a lot more confidence insofar as approaching other women. And you have a starter girlfriend, and you're going to have more confidence, and it's going to come off of you that you have more confidence because you have a woman, right? And so the next one, the better one, and potentially the permanent one, yeah, she'll be attracted to you, and take advantage of that. Fuck yeah, don't worry about it. But like I said, I think the biggest warning is don't fall into the trap of thinking that she's good enough, that the starter girlfriend is all you need, and just stick with her to the end of your life. No, she is not. She's a starter girlfriend, right? Don't treat her ill, of course. Just as I'm not going to, deliberately crash my Lyfen bike. Yeah, don't treat your starter girlfriend like a piece of shit, because that's just low. But recognize that she's just for a bit. She's just the, she's not Miss Right. She's just Miss Right now. If you keep that in mind, you'll do fine.